The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
When everyone is ready, we'll start with Carvey from Sky Sports News.
Gareth, first of all, what's the latest on the situation regarding Jack Wilshere?
Yeah, Jack just felt some tendinopathy in his knee. It's a problem he's had before, but nothing too serious. So we had the option to bring him here and treat him here and let it settle, or keep him back at base, and we decided to leave him there, and hopefully over the next couple of days that will settle down. There's a good chance he's with us Saturday, but we just have to see how he responds.
So there's still a good chance that he could be involved on Tuesday night?
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, it's something that in the past has settled down very quickly, so we're pretty hopeful that'll be the case.
And how did it happen today during the training session?
No, that's just sort of loading thing. It's not a specific injury. It's just something lots of players have, tendon areas that over time sometimes flare up, and they just need to settle down for a couple of days. So it's not a specific injury.
And how is he personally? How did he take it?
Well, he was disappointed to have to pull out of training today, but as I say, it's something he's sort of ongoing, managed over a long period of time, so there are just days where it needs to settle down, so it's not something new for him. Disappointed not to be able to be involved in the game tomorrow, of course, but he's trained well with us this week, and if you think about the journey he's been on in the last couple of years and the big injuries he's had to come back from, then he's progressing really well.
Just turning to the World Cup in Russia this summer, obviously the Foreign Secretary was talking about it in Parliament yesterday, and there doesn't seem to be much of a feel-good factor around the tournament. People aren't really looking forward to going to Russia in the summer, and the Foreign Secretary was suggesting that it's more of a PR event rather than a festival of football. Do you still think at heart it is going to be a football tournament?
I think the rest of the world are viewing it that way. I mean, it's not. It's of little interest to me what the Foreign Secretary thinks about it. But I was in Russia last year for the Confederations Cup. I think there were about 15,000 fans from Chile. It was an incredible atmosphere in the stadiums. Stadiums were brilliant. The facilities and training grounds were excellent. So, it didn't feel like any other. It felt like the other World Cups I've been to, in terms of the experience within the stadiums and the atmospheres for the games.
And the way the relationship is going between England and Russia, isn't there a sort of danger that in the summer there are not going to be very many neutral fans in Russia supporting England? It's almost going to be as if England are going to be the most hated team in the tournament.
Well, I don't think we're going to be the most popular the way things are going at the moment, but maybe that's something that we been used to that over my career with different teams, so maybe that can be some extra motivation for us.
And Jordan, are you sort of ready for the hostile reception that you might get out in Russia this summer?
Yeah, like the manager said, hopefully we can use that to our advantage really and give us a little bit extra, but as players, we'll not really be thinking about that. We'll just be focused on the games, like always, and preparing as normal as always, as I've done in the past in tournaments.
And Gareth, there's been some criticism of the fact that there isn't going to be a black or an Asian coach with the England team in Russia this summer. Why is that?
Well, I appointed my coaching staff 18 months ago. So there is no additional coaching position. obviously there's been reference to how we would deal with racism, but we have a department set up working across all our teams to deal with that sort of player welfare side of things, and we're already well down the line in terms of our plans for what we will do and talk about with the players before we go to Russia. So that support is in place.
So you will be advising black players in your squad how to react if they're racially abused in Russia?
I think the more important thing for me is that we have support and we have an identity as a team, and that we're close and tight as a team, and feel like we're a family before we go. What happens when we're there, then we're easier, is far easier for us to deal with, because we know how tight this group of players are, and we will know by the time we go how we want to respond in those situations. In terms of anything that happens on the field, there are clear FIFA guidelines for how you have to report incidents and how you have to deal with things. But also, I don't think we should just talk about racism in Russia. You know, we've got to get our own house in order. There's still things going on in our own country that aren't correct around racism. So we keep pointing the finger at Russia, where we're going to be guests in the next couple of months. But we haven't resolved the issue in our own country. And until we do, I think we should stop firing off those things elsewhere.
There was a story on the back page of the Daily Mail this morning saying that players in your squad were being offered asthma tests. Why is that?
Well, there are a number of mandatory pieces of information we have to submit to FIFA around medical testing. So heart situation, hearts get ECGs, blood tests. As part of that process, we think, you know, their general health matters. We think it's important that we tested for asthma as well. That's quite commonplace. Several of the clubs have already done that. That was completely voluntary for the players. The other tests weren't voluntary because we need to have that information. God forbid anything happens to one of our players or anybody else's players. FIFA take that very seriously, and there's certain medical detail that we have to hand. So that's just a part of player well-being, really.
And there have been serious issues with doping in Russian sport. Do you have total faith in the anti-doping controls at the World Cup in Russia this summer?
I have to have faith in all the anti-doping procedures that take place. I have to take them as face value. I'm not an expert on those processes. I'm obviously aware of stories from other sports and other events in the past. But you know, the important thing from our point of view is that we comply with everything, and that we're able to you know, conduct ourselves and make sure that we're a team that prepared in the right way.
Just on footballing matters tomorrow night, have you decided who's starting goal?
Sorry, I'm sorry you took me by surprise.
Have you decided who's going to start in goal tomorrow night?
Yeah, Jordan Pickford will play in goal tomorrow night. And
what qualities do you think he can bring to the role tomorrow night?
Well, he's a very agile goalkeeper, quick around his goal. He's capable of making big saves. His distribution is excellent. You know, really outstanding distributor of the ball with his feet, which is a key part of how we want to play. So you know, it's a great opportunity for him. He played really well against Germany in November, and it's a good chance for us to see him in another international game.
Okay, next question.
Dutch TV analyst. The Dutch team is in sort of a makeover situation right now. What did you learn about this transformation, and how do you think you want to play the Dutch?
Well, we obviously don't know too much in terms of what Ronald will do. We know what the recent history has been. We know that a lot of their senior players have recently retired, and it's a young team, so they're in a very similar situation to us, really. You know, Ronald will have his own style, and we'll want to. You know, I've obviously know him well from his time in England. He was very helpful to me when I visited him at Southampton and at Everton. So tactically, he will have his own ideas of how he wants the team to play, it's going to take him time to get those ideas across. But obviously, he and the team are going to have high motivation for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, even in Holland, we don't know what tactics he will be playing. But Koeman seems to leave the good old-fashioned Dutch 4-3-3 system and maybe shift to 5-3-2 or something else. It's sort of like a national discussion in Holland.
Of course.
Yeah. What's your opinion? Do you think the 4-3-3 is, which brought us a lot of success in the past, is old-fashioned these days?
I don't think any system is old-fashioned, because Liverpool and Manchester City in English League are having great success playing with a 4-3-3. So everybody will play their system slightly differently depending on the types of players they have available. I think the modern game, it's good to be tactically flexible as a team. But I know you Dutch have a slight obsession with the 4-3-3. So and it is a great way to learn the game for young players. There's no question about that. But Ronald in England often set his team up in different tactical formations depending on who he was playing against. So I'm sure you're going to see, some variety in the way he approaches the games.
Yeah, based on what you saw in the Premier League, what are your expectations exactly?
That the team will be well organised. That he will encourage them to play with some style, of course, he had a great personality on the field as a player. He expects his players to show that personality in the way that they perform.
One last question from Mr. Henderson, please. Are you tomorrow's captain?
Yes.
There's another captain from Liverpool. Maybe you had some contact with him?
Not yet, but I've just found out that obviously he's been named Holland captain, which I'm delighted for him. He's a great person, and I've got to know him well over the short time he's been at Liverpool. He's a fantastic player.
What do you think about him as a player?
He's a fantastic player, as I've just said.
Nothing more?
Nothing more.
David Ornstein.
Gareth, sorry to bring up Russia again, but as you see day by day politicians across parties wading in on the debate, I know you've said that it's in the hands of other people at the FA, but they're wading in on a debate involving your team. Is it becoming a distraction? Is it unhelpful?
No, it obviously means that I have to answer different questions, but I spoke to the players a couple of days ago. There's been no suggestion that we won't go to the tournament. The thing that's uppermost in our mind is security and safety. Again, we have no concerns about that. So we're just preparing. We're actually enjoying the week. It's been great to get the players back together. Important week for us in terms of tactical preparation, a chance to embed ideas ahead of the summer, to look at new players, to look at some players in different roles. So, these two games are important learnings for us.
The individuals in charge of securing the England fans' safety from the consulate have been sent back to the UK. I know you said you would travel if it was your family and you have your family out there. Would you travel if you were a fan?
Personally, I would, because I've spent some time in Russia and felt incredibly comfortable there. But obviously, everybody has an individual level of what they want to do and what they are comfortable with. And the situation is developing, so we don't really know what that will look like in June. But everything I'm aware of currently, it wouldn't stop me going.
One for Jordan on that. There's a report in the Independent tonight that at least one player's family from the England squad have indicated that they don't want to travel to the World Cup. Is that something that concerns you as the captain at the moment with your family and for your teammates?
Not really. Obviously, I've supported the security team, and at the moment everything seems pretty good. We've got options for the families in terms of hotels and flights and things like that. But at the same time, we don't know what the squad is going to be yet. So that I've got to wait until that happens, and then when that happens, then people will be deciding if they want the families to go. I know if I go, my family want to go, and obviously be part of the World Cup. So I can only really speak for myself, but as a squad, we've spoke about the security aspect, and that seems all fine so far. Whether or not that changes further down the line, we'll have to wait and see.
Just finally, Gareth, on the football, with 4 goalkeepers in the squad, it's not clear who's the standout number one. Questions in other parts of the pitch, of course, the Harry Kane injury. What sort of preparation is this? Would you have been expecting to have a far more settled squad at this stage of the World Cup build-up?
I think we have got a pretty settled squad, really. You know, there aren't going to be too many decisions for me to make. I'm pretty clear on, you know, the vast majority of the squad. And if we had to play tomorrow, I know the starting team I'd play. What we have got is more opportunity to work on things, chance to look at different tactical systems, chance to look at different options in case we have to change things in the summer, people in different roles so that we can balance off positionally where we might want to put additional numbers in the squad in the summer as well. So every time you get to work with the players is a real plus, really.
Is that team and squad in your head one that you genuinely feel could go far in the competition?
I think we can surprise people. You know, I think we're a country that in the last World Cup didn't get out of the group. We know what happened in the last European Championships. So we've got a squad this week, I think average age just under 25. We know that we're a work in progress, but also we don't know what these lads are capable of achieving, and I don't want to limit that. You know, they are hungry, ambitious, energetic. We've got terrific pace throughout the team. So I'm really excited to see how far they can go.
Okay, we'll finish up with Game Clark.
Yeah, Gareth, you said you've got a good idea of what your team will be in Russia for that opening game. So if everyone's fit, do you know who your captain will be in Russia now?
Yeah.
It is?
That's for me to know and for everybody else to wait for.
And when will you reveal that?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about exactly when, but at some point, either when I name the squad for the World Cup or when we're about to travel.
And do you know who your goalkeeper would be?
I know who it would be if we played tomorrow, but I think we've still got plenty of football to be played. That is a very tight call at the moment because there's 4 guys in the squad who have justifiable claims for different reasons. I would imagine Tom Heaton will be sitting at home hoping he gets back into Bernie's team as well, who would want to play a part in being in that squad as well. So, you know, we're not in a situation where we've got a goalkeeper who is established in the team and playing in his club regularly, and all things are aligned as you might hope at this point. But that's where we are, and I've confidence in all of the guys that they can go in and do the job. It's just not that at the moment we don't have a clear number one because of what's happened, especially with Joe at his club.
But if Jordan Pickford, the man in possession, does well tomorrow, he's the goalkeeper tomorrow, then does he get another go on Tuesday?
I think if Jordan Pickford does well tomorrow, he gives himself a huge boost and you know, gives us food for thought on what we're doing moving forward.
And it's been discussed maybe that Eric Dyer goes into a back 3 tomorrow night. Can you confirm whether that will happen?
I don't wish to give Ronald any more help than is necessary, really.
Okay, guys, finish it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.